Today we're talking about the 3 steps the INFJ needs to take in order to get out of a funk. So we've all experienced this. Your life might have been okay, you felt like things could have been better, but then something happens and everything just changes. You don't know what hit you. It might be a failed relationship, it might be a job opportunity that didn't come through, it might be that you just suddenly realize that your dreams are never going to happen the way you thought they were going to be. And a lot of INFJs find themselves stuck in these situations and they don't know how to get out of it. I know I've been there. I've talked to a lot of INFJs who've gone through this. We talk about this in boot camp. By the way, the first live call of the boot camp live round this time is tomorrow on Saturday, so you just have a little bit more time to join. You find all the information in the link in the description, so be quick and join us before the first live call starts. Now back on topic. So the problem with this whole thing is that we as INFJs have had this vision of something working out, and then things are not going that way. And this is really difficult for us because there was so much intention that went into it. For us, it's not even so much that we put that many steps into it. Very seldom it's that you say, okay, but I already moved. I already changed all my things that I had to change, and now things are falling through. Those logistical things aren't really the problem for us. We will take care of it. Our biggest problem is our focus. For the longest time, we have focused on one version of reality. Having a future with that person, having a better position in that one company, moving to a place we always wanted to go to. And that has been our sole focus. More than once, we actually completely forget what was going on in reality. And for us INFJs, this is really easy. This is the typical thing, the NITI loop, where we just get stuck in our imagination. We have our own internal logic of how things are working. And once you actually realize, okay, there has to be a reality break here. Like whatever I imagined isn't happening. And being in that position, that is what really gets us messed up. Because you don't know where to go from there. There is no basis that you can hold on to. And that in itself really makes us frozen. And so a lot of INFJs find themselves in this position and don't know how to act. And we're going to talk about the 3 steps to take to make that transition, to make it happen ASAP, so you actually get to a place where you're not only feeling like you're growing again, but you're growing to such an extent you've never felt before. And second of all, it's something that is unshakable. Because most of the time when these things happen, we recognize that we have built our vision in something that isn't 100% under our control. I mean, don't get me wrong, we're never completely 100% in control of something. But there are certain ways that you can create yourself that will be permanent. Like I'm a person continuously grows, who's able to pivot, who takes on new challenges. I decide who I want to be in the world, and whoever gets into my life, whatever circumstance happens, they have to adapt to the person that I am. And most of the time, we as INFJs see ourselves as chameleons. And being a chameleon always means there is actually not this one thing that I'm always going to hold on to. And this is what I want to talk to you about today. Because having this basis, giving up some of this chameleon quality is the best thing that's going to happen to you. You don't have to give up this quality of being able to change in certain circumstances to make other people feel comfortable or anything like this. But there has to be this basis that no matter what happens in your life, no matter who comes into it, no matter what kind of choices you make in the future, you will hold on to this. And very often, like those lowest points are actually the turning point, because then we recognize there's certain things I never want to give up on. For example, for me, that was my self-image of being somebody who's actually strong. I so often pretended to be weaker than I was in order to make people comfortable. I pretended that my wishes and my dreams don't matter as much, that I'm a martyr. And I learned that this is not something that's going to serve me. And this isn't something that's going to serve you either. Being your best advocate, being your best friend does not mean you have to give up on others, that you're being a bad friend or anything like this. But you're not paying the price of your own personal growth. So when you have like this situation, the 3 steps to take are, first off, acceptance. You have to accept that what has gone on in reality is the truth, that you cannot pretend anymore that the vision you had before is the thing that's going to happen and reality is just going to catch up. I know very often we're taught this way, and I don't even mean like INFJs in general, but if you look at the personal development realm or just like the entire scene of motivation, it's like you don't live in reality, you hold on to your vision, and then reality adapts. That in itself is an incredibly powerful strategy, and I'm not saying that you shouldn't use it, but always ask yourself, am I putting somebody or some situation that is out of my control within that vision? Meaning, for example, the only way I'm going to be happy is if I'm with that person. You're in that situation, that person is out of your control. You don't know, are they going to rise up to the occasion? Are they going to fulfill their potential? Are they the person you want them to be? Similarly, if you say, oh, this job needs to happen or this business needs to happen, and then some things that are out of your control happen and you're completely taken back. See, in situations like this, you recognize what was actually in your control and what isn't. Other people aren't. So let's say in relationships, yes, you don't have control over is that person going to do all the things you want them to do. But what you have control over is to say, this is what I deserve, this is who I want. And I'm not saying I want that person, I'm saying I want somebody who's into personal growth, somebody who accepts me the way I am, doesn't want to change me, somebody that I don't have to pretend like I'm weaker for. All of these things. Similarly with like your job, right? This job might not be it. It might be a great point until you reach a certain destination of how far you can grow, but then it's time to move on. So the acceptance part is that your vision doesn't need to entail something specific or another person. It's about accepting that all of the emotions that you have, all of these wishes that you have, those are things that you can have definitely, but they don't have to be fulfilled in that certain scenario. The emotions that you have, the desires that you have, these feelings can be actualized. Otherwise, you wouldn't have them in your mind. But you have to be open what things are going to bring you these emotions. And if you stay firm in this, then you will see incredible changes in your life. So once you've gone through this whole acceptance phase, the next thing is incredibly important, and that is to allow your emotions to just run. And the emotions will actually be full of anger most of the time of, okay, I put so much effort into this, I put so much hope into that one person, and that person just used me. They didn't show up for me. I actually did way too much in that relationship. I put way too much work into this job, and I'm never going to get the appreciation that I deserve. You actually see the person for who they are now in contrast to the person you wanted them to be. Similarly to the job, you actually see that and you allow yourself to let go of any kinds of emotions. So first off, that's anger. Allow yourself to be angry and to really let all of that out. Very often we say, oh, anger isn't good, but anger in a controlled setting can be very, very helpful. And you know what is behind anger? It's sadness, it's grief, it's letting go of all of the dreams that were so important to you. So the first step is more of a rational thing, right? You accept it on a very logical, non-emotional basis. The second step is to allow your emotions to actually happen. You need to release them somehow. You need to feel it in order to heal it. And anger and grief are very, very important components here. So even if you've reached this point, a lot of people get stuck right there. I've seen people holding on to grief, holding on to anger for decades sometimes, and you don't know how to get out of it. Like, people really want to get out of it. And I've seen INFJs go through this as well. Although we're known to be able to, start a new vision and create something new, but you have to understand, we as INFJs tend to put so much vision into one scenario, so much emotion, so much power into it, and to then sort of see that situation as something that has no emotional value to us is incredibly difficult. And this is when other people tell you, oh, why you're still thinking about this? Why you're still thinking about that person? So all of these things come up and we actually feel guilty about it. But it's important to understand that this doesn't happen overnight. We cannot shut these feelings off. And that's why the third step is so incredibly important. The third step is a new project. You cannot tell yourself, don't think of the pink elephant. Say that to yourself. What do? You think of the pink elephant. Telling yourself, oh, I shouldn't check my ex-boyfriend's Facebook page, or I shouldn't look at what my former boss is doing and then get upset that he's really successful now. You can't make yourself stop thinking about certain things. The only thing that will really help is to create something new that creates more and more excitement in your life and that you're in control of. That's why I say say, create a new project. And that project better be all about who you want to become. Think about your vocation. Think about who you want to be in a career aspect. Think of where you want to be financially. Think of who you want to be in a new relationship, and not so much that's the person that has to happen, but more of from now on, I'm going to state what I want. I'm going to be okay when people say no, but I'm not switching this up. This is staying mine. And when you start building this, and you'll see that's the main thing we talk about in bootcamp, we work through this. This is what this channel is all about, and also like the 5 pillars to an INFJ epic life. Remember, we have a free poster to this, so download it. The link is in the description. Building something that creates new excitement in your life is the quickest and most permanent way to let go of old emotional baggage. Yes, you first off need the acceptance. You need to allow your emotions to run their course. That needs to happen, but then you need something new. Then you need to create something that actually brings you more positive emotions and more emotions altogether. I mean, think about it. What are we mostly scared of? We're scared of not feeling anything. Most of the time, you'd rather take some pain, but we have some excitement in our life, right? And those are the reasons why we go back to certain images. We go back to certain imaginations of how things could feel, although there is no future, right? You start daydreaming about another person when you know in reality you could never be together. You know, certain things like that. But if you have something new that is not only exciting, but the excitement is permanent, it's under your control, you create it, and it gets bigger and bigger, and you are the master of it, you're much more likely to forget about other things. So even if your thought goes into that direction for 1 second, you stop yourself because you know this is not going into the right direction. Your mind on a subconscious level is always looking for the next dopamine hit or endorphin hit or whatever it is. And sometimes for us as INFJs, it's very easy to have that daydream about that thing that could have happened. But if your reality is actually even more exciting, then this is the first thing that comes to mind. This is the thing that will keep you stuck in a place where you keep on creating things that make your life better. That's the reason why I'm so consistent with it, why people continue to come back to bootcamp, because this is our main focus, creating something that you're in control of, that you can create, that is on your terms, and it keeps you away from all of these quick fixes which aren't really making you happy in the long term. So remember, these are the 3 steps that will get you out of the funk. Accept the reality for what it is, allow your emotions to run their course, and then get a new project. That project is always you, your future, your life, your INFJ epic life, and start building it. And you start building this, and at some point it will become better than the other thing. The other thing might still pop up in your mind, and it's totally okay to go back there from time to time, but the more often you choose the new state, you choose your new life, you'll see how the times you go back to this scenario, the old one that doesn't have a future, this just goes away. It becomes less and less, and before you know it, you can't even remember it. And if you want to watch another video now that is in alignment with today's topic, then watch the video on why a true INFJ is a transformation warrior.